Hey everyone, welcome to my video. So today's tutorial is all about drugstore makeup. So stuff you can just get at Priceline. Video is because, I don't know, I find that every time I'm kind of cruising YouTube looking at other beauty gurus, I see that it's always, top of the range products that, a lot of the time they've been sent, or just because they have a different budget, when the majority of people who are into makeup usually have jobs and other financial commitments that may put them off spending, say, $90 on a foundation. So the point of today's video is to show that you can achieve a really nice look and be creative and let your freak flag fly just with whatever you get at Priceline. So to start off with, I'm going to use one of my favorite primers. I don't always use it just because I'm going through a stage right now where I have my favorites. And the primer is by Rimmel. It is the Stay Matte Primer, and it seems to have a colour which is 003, whatever that means. Anyway, it's quite easy to apply, smells nice, and one of the reasons I enjoy it is because it's a cream and it doesn't feel like it's slightly silicone-y, but not excessively. So just pat it into the areas where you're most prone to getting makeup stuck, usually from enlarged pores or imperfections such as acne. This is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation and sunscreen with broad spectrum. The colour that I'm using is 820, which would probably be quite close to the fairest that they create. So using my El Cheapo Fake Beauty Blender, I'm going to pump this on and apply it to my skin. Okay, so now my foundation has been applied. I put on 2 layers just for extra coverage. I'm not too sure how buildable the CoverGirl is. I noticed that when I went to apply the second layer that it wasn't as easy to apply. It sort of almost built up and was a little congested, but 2 seems to be the maximum of how many layers you can put on that foundation. The powder I'm going to be using now to set the foundation and give myself more of a matte appearance is the Maybelline New York Shine Free Loose Powder in Light. So again, another product which is designed for combination oily skin. Now the brushes I am using are a mix. I've got some, they're not cheap ones, I will admit, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the brushes that I do invest in, I don't stinge out on because I believe that you get what you pay for. So for example, the brush I'm going to be using now to apply the loose powder is a Sigma brush. And then later on I've got Gorgeous Cosmetics and what is this? Zoeva. So ignoring the brushes, they don't really apply to the whole idea behind this video. So again, just tap the brush into the loose powder if you are using loose powder, and in circular motions really buff it into the skin. Now the foundation that I used, even though it was the lightest colour, was a little too dark for my pale skin. So by using this coloured loose powder, it helps actually make the colour a little lighter. I don't want too much of a contrast between my face and my neck. Also, because I'm wearing such a dress where my neck is exposed, it's important to make sure the colours match. Otherwise I may look a little silly if I go out. Okay, so the next step now is I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I would usually use an Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz pen, but today I'm going to be a little different and I'm going to use my NYX, Auto Eyebrow Pencil. So it comes with a spoolie, and for some reason, I don't know why, it's empty on one end, so strange. And then on the other end there is a nice brown crayon, and I'm just going to apply it like I would the Anastasia, by just outlining the bottom so that I have a straight line here and make sure that there's a curve. In fact, due to the thickness of this, it's actually a little easier to apply. I'm a little surprised. My brows are done, a little dark. I think this colour is perhaps not my colour, but I'm going to work with it. Now to perhaps try and mood it a little bit, I'm going to use my L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper. It's a coloured spoolie and it will also set my brows, so it has a little bit of gel in it, which will mean that if during the day it's windy or I accidentally brush my brows, with my hand or something, they won't just go It's a worse look when that happens. Okay. looking good by using another NYX product. This is the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, and it's very popular. I'm going to just put it on my lids and then blend it in, and I may also just put it in the arch here once the gel has dried, just to, again, highlight under the brows, make them look a little bit more obvious. But whilst this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start to go onto a bronzer, an illuminator, and a blush. Okay, so the bronzer that I'm using is very dark. It's BH Studio Pro Matte Finish Pressed Powder in shade 255. I did purposely buy the wrong shade, just so that if I was going out, I have a bronzer which is going to be incredibly dark and, you know, be quite strong, say, if I was in a dark environment. So I'm going to be very careful with the way I apply this, as I don't want too much. So I'm going to gently, with my brush, pick up a small amount, and then slowly start creating some definition on my cheekbones, making sure to constantly blend. Make sure it goes into the hairline. Okay, so bronzing's done, and the next thing I'm going to do is go over the top with an illuminator. I'm using a NYX illuminator in Narcissistic, which is 01. And I'm going to just go ahead with my Zoeva brush, gently pick up the product, just so it's on the tip. I don't know if you can see, it's just gently there. Just above where I've done the bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and put a bit of shine. So this illuminator is more of a peachy colour. I didn't want anything golden or too pink. I thought peach would look nice for the colour combination I planned for this particular tutorial. Okay. So one thing I've noticed with this illuminator, it's the first time I've used it. It's a little different to the Champagne Pop that I use by Becca. The Becca one is really pigmented. You can only use a small amount at a time. I'm noticing this isn't as pigmented, so now I'm just full on dumping it in, trying to pick up as much product as possible, because I really want to have that nice sheen you get when the sun hits right on the corner, and you know, and you have that look. It looks amazing. Should be all good. Paris, I think that's how you say it, Bourjois. And it's 34 Rose, Golden Rose, and it's a blusher. It comes in a cute little container, little mirror inside. That's a lovely pink. So I'm going to pick that up with my Zoeva brush, gently blend it, and then just on the apples of my cheeks, I'm going to dab it on. It is a shiny one, so it's not a matte blush, but it's okay. It's going to go well with the look. So also just make sure to blend it up as well. Even though it's on your cheeks, on the apples of your cheeks, blend it up so that it connects nicely and there's no little gap between the blush here, the bronzer here, and then the illuminator up here. Obviously, if it is more of a pigmented colour, be very careful. That's the face done. Back onto the eyes. So I'm going to be using a loose pigment. This is a Sleek Eye Dust. This is the colour here. I don't know if you can really see it. It's a burgundy rose gold type colour. I've received this in a beauty box, you know, subscription services that you can get. The number is 687 Inferno. I used to be really big into pigments, loose ones. I'd be very creative with them. I used to do like flags in my eyes. So I haven't used them for a while, so this is going to be a fun little reintroduction. I do recall that you can use gels and, you know, mixing mediums to make these a liquid, but what I used to do in the past, it's ghetto, but it works, is a little bit of tap water, dab the powder into the lid, pick it up with the wet brush, check on the back of your hand to make sure it's not too wet, and then go ahead and paint it on, let it dry. it does the same thing, and water is pretty much free unless you pay water rates, which are very, very expensive. Okay. The brush is wet, not too wet. You want it just to be damp. And I've got some powder in the cap. I'm going to pick this up. So it's a thicker pigment, so really careful. And yep, I've checked on the back of my hand, looks fine. I know the colour I'm working with. Now it's just a matter of applying it to the lid. I'm just popping it on the main part of my lid. So far it's a little messy, but we're only just beginning. That's the pigment done. What I'm going to do next is go to my trusty sticky tape and apply it on an angle so that I'm going to have that sharp clean line there, rather than sometimes when you apply eyeshadow it can droop down and create the illusion that you have droopy eyes, which is not in vogue. If it was, then don't use the sticky tape. So far so good. Look for my eyes is, so the colours that I'm going to be using for my lids come from the BH Cosmetics Forever Nude palette. I believe I paid $12 for this a few years ago. Carly Bible was very positive about this palette. So these are the colours, that's how it's set out. I myself found them not to be as pigmented, but I prefer the consistency of, say, Lorac or Urban Decay. I like the feel of those shadows. I find them easier to work with. This requires more of a delicate hand and perhaps even just a lot more dabs into the product to get the sufficient amount on the brush that you'd possibly be able to get with one dip in a better brand. So, corners first. The brush I'm using here is the Sigma Medium Angled Shaping E70, and the colour that I'm going to be using to start putting a little darkness in my corners is this baby here. It's a semi-glittery metallic earthy brown colour. So it's just a matter of tapping into the corner, going over the sticky tape because that is your lifeline and protecting you from messing up the colour. You can keep your eyes open when you apply eyeshadows. That way at least you know how it's going to look with your eyes open, provided you don't accidentally stab yourself in the eye with your brush, which is a real danger. A hilarious danger, I might say. It would be really funny. So I usually alternate between eyes closed and eyes open when I'm doing this because I get to see the different views. So like that, and then like that. The colours I've chosen so far go really well with my hazel eyes. I do find that I have a problem, I can't use blue shadows or green shadows because blue seems to dull my eye colour. Green makes my eyes not look as green. Okay, so next colour, I'm going to really go dark in these corners. So I've got the nice brown, yes, that's a nice transition, but I'm using this, it's a matte with only a tiny bit of black gold sparkle. I don't know if you can see it, you really can't. It's the darkest one in this palette. I'm going to just use a small brush. It is a Gorgeous Cosmetics 019 brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit, it's a tapered small rounded edge to it. It's a synthetic brush. And the small amount I'm going to just slowly go into the corners and build up a little bit of darkness. Sorry, that's my phone. It's not on silent and it usually is. So as you can see, my eye is open as I'm doing this. It really is making a nice little break between these two, these sort of lighter golden colours. The black's providing that nice bit of sexiness. So you can see here, you've got the loose pigment here, the brown colour here, and then the black in the corner. Okay, I'm just going to do the other one quickly. Okay, so these are looking really good so far. What I'm going to do now is pick up this white, has a slight sheen to it colour, it's a creamy white, and I'm going to put it above the colours so that there's a bit of a sheen underneath my brows, and also just to blend out the corners so that they don't look stark and finished. I used to have this horrible manager that worked with me. And it was when I was first getting into makeup and going to work with some pretty crazy colours. Got the nickname Cleopatra from someone. Whatever, I'll take it. And she said to me one day, "Have you heard of blending?" Well, no, I hadn't. She was a mole. My makeup looks awesome now. In comparison. I mean, like, little comments like that are helpful if you say in a nice way. Otherwise they're really insulting and in your face. Okay, so blend it out, looks nice. I just want to really sharpen it a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Maybelline Hyper Sharp Wing Liner liquid, and I'm going to go along right over the top of this sticky tape, and that will help create a sharp line. So you see like that? So if you don't have if you're not good at doing a sharp line, this will totally make it better. Then take off the sticky tape and just finish doing the line across the rest of the lid. Okay, so the line is done. Now I'm going to put a little bit of shimmer in the inner corner and then again just under the brow, so on the brow bone. The colour that I'm using is called Peach Beach 74 by Essence. These are like $2 and I love them. I've used so much of this. I was surprised when I got it from Priceline that it would be so amazing. See, look at that shimmer. I really want to go back and buy a bunch of the Essence products and just do a whole exclusive, you know, look from Essence. Okay, I'm going to also use a liner just underneath. The one that I've got here is called iTeeny. It's a swizzle stick eyeliner in Midnight Cowgirl 04. It's made in the USA. I received this in a subscription box. It is a mushroom grey colour. So I'm just going to apply it underneath here and blend. So it's actually a really nice subtle colour. I haven't used it before and far out. I think I'm going to actually start using it. So you have another option here to counteract that eyeliner with a little bit of white in the inner corner. I'm going to go and use my Milk Jumbo pen. Only requires a touch. So all I did was line under here and blend it with my finger, and it just creates that youthful awake look. Now the mascara that I'm going to be using is the the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Mascara. You can get it from, I think, mostly pharmacies. I think it's Discount Chemist that does it. And it's quite a rubbery type of wand applicator. I like it because it's easy to use, it lasts ages, and very importantly, it's cheap. Okay, so this is the eye with mascara on it. This is the one without it. Now, the thing is, I have had my lashes permed, so I don't have to curl them if I don't want to. If I want to make them extremely curled and feminine looking, I would use the eyelash curler, but I don't necessarily need to. And now what I'm going to do is, I've still got this bronzer on my forehead that's a little bit too dark. I'm going to just grab a brush. What is this? Nude by Nature brush. They had a lovely collection over Christmas. I'm going to pop it into my Essence Mattifying Compact Powder in the colour Light Beige. It's 10. I'm going to just gently pick up some product and go over this area and just blend it out a little bit. I'm going to go down my nose, the T-zone, just to make sure that I'm a little bit more prepared, say, for when I go out later on, so I don't get too oily. And my LD setting spray, so I'm going to use my Ben Nye Final Seal. It is the same as a setting spray. Whoa. Oh, holy crap. That's like industrial strength. That was not fun to breathe in, but it feels like my face is going to stay this way for a really long time. So that's good. I can actually feel it setting. My God, that stuff's amazing. Okay, so now the last step is going to be putting some lip colour on. I'm just going to stick to, because the eyes are so out there and so really quite strong, I'm going to go ahead and use something quite light on my lips. I'm going to use the Velour Lips Matte Lip Cream by Australis. This is a nice colour. It's in Paris, so P-A-R-E-E. Smells so good. It smells like berries. Okay, so this is the look. I hope you like it. It's fun, it's flirty, it's nice to wear outside. The lip also makes it more of a daytime look. Gotta say, I'm really in love with Australis Velour lips. This colour is so good and it doesn't make me look too pale, and I'm a very white person, so if you're also very similarly faced, I recommend going out and grabbing this. Chemist Warehouse, they sell it quite cheaply, so pop in, have a look. I think they have 40% off at the moment, so hopefully that sale is still on whilst this is uploading. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you for my next video. Bye for now.